Good afternoon, everyone. I'm very honored to introduce for this first conference in English of Secours Expo Mr. José Duarte da Costa. Welcome. You're the Director General of the Portuguese National Authority for Emergency and Civil Protection. And as you know, Portugal is also the delegation of honor of this edition of Secours Expo. Mr. Duarte da Costa, thank you very much for being with us today. And a few words before you start, a few words to present who you are and also the purpose of your conference. You are a general from the army with 40 years of duty. In 2020, you got nominated by the Portuguese Prime Minister to become the head of the National Authority for Emergency and Civil Protection of your country. In the previous 2 years, 2018-2020, you had already been dealing with civil protection issues when you were the National Commander for Relief Operations with the responsibility of command and coordinate all civil protection agents. And that was in the framework of the National Integrated System for Relief Operations. I have to specify that you became the head of the National Authority for Emergency and Civil Protection of Portugal after some of the worst forest fires that struck your country. That was in June 2017, and consequences were terrible. There were dozens of people that died, and the government declared then 3 days of national mourning. So during 30 minutes, you're going to develop what happened then during this terrible time and what Portugal has learned from this dramatic event. And also, you're going to tell us what got implemented, what best practices were implemented in your country since 2017. And then we'll have another 10 or 15 minutes to get some questions from the audience. So now you can begin.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your kind words. Can I just ask the presentation to be put in the screen, please? Thank you very much. So, once again, thank you. It's quite an honor to be here at the Expo Secours. I'm sorry, je peux parler un peu de français, mais mon anglais c'est bien mieux que mon français. And that's the way I feel more comfortable to speak in English. So, and I think that if we are broadcasting to other people, maybe there will be a lot of people who will also understand English. So as it was previously said, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. As was previously said, I arrived at the civil protection in the beginning of 2018, after the forest fires of 2017. Meaning those were not one of the worst. They were the worst historically that we ever had in June and in October. The death toll was 111 people who died in those forest fires. So, is it on? Thank you. So I will propose, is it working here or will you change there? You change? Okay. Thank you. I will propose 4 parts for this brief explanation of what happened, what needed to be done, and finally, what we've really done after 2017, and then the final remarks, very short. Another one. Let me tell you about the forest fires of 2017. It's not only a question of how we dealt with the fires. we really found several problems in the way the civil protection was organized at the time. But the main question is that even if we had the best practice in civil protection, would it be possible to avoid? For sure, it would be possible to avoid that death toll of 111 people. That's for sure. But the extreme fires that occur in Portugal were due of the lack of treatment of our forests. And that is something that we cannot change in 1 year, or in 4, or in 10. It's something that you are always trying to change, and it will take 10, 15, 20 years to change the design of the forest in Portugal. At the time, what we had, it was about, as we say there, 35% of the main territory is forest, and we have the most increased number of private owners of the forest of all Europe, meaning that we have only almost 400,000 small portions of terrain that are private. How to deal with it? Well, at the time it didn't seem so important. What happened is that in the perfect conditions for a fire storm, it became the main issue to be dealt. And so, another one please, can you change? And so what we have, it's what I call the perfect situation, the perfect cocktail for a storm to happen. We have a lack of cadastral system to see who's the owner, a high percentage of the forest properties due to problems of passing from fathers to children. We don't know who the owners are. So we don't have the conditions to turn the forest profitable for the persons to use the forest and to gain money with it. And so people tend to go out from the rural area to the city. And we, in the last 40 years, we really found an incredible number of people who really abandoned their villages, their way of living in the rural areas. Only people more elderly stay there, and all the young generations migrated to the big cities. So, in result of that, and as we had low level of precipitation, high values of temperature, and a very high availability of fuel, and with the forest that we had the perfect cocktail for very strong wildfires that in the end, in 2 seasons, happened to become the reason why so many people died. Another one, please. And one of the things that we should take attention is that normally, back in 2017, we were fixed on the months of July, August, September for the forest fire season. And those 2 big fires, the first one happened in June. The other one happened in October. So more than 50 people died in June, and the other 50 people died in October. And so in the forest season, we had some fires, but nothing so strong as it happens in June and in October. 2 of the main, just 2 pictures. I still feel uncomfortable watching those pictures. Another one, please. And this one, Travel Across the World, is one of the days, it was one of the days where I would say that most of my country was burning like hell. And in the end, the reason is that we had the biggest amount of burned area, and we had 111 dead people in that year. So we need to take action at the time. We need to change something. We need to change the system. I would say we need to change everything, because we became to the perspective that we were not prepared to deal with this new kind of very heavy, strong fires that could appear. And so the government decided to create legislation not only that allowed to change the organizations of the system, to change the organization of the perspective, how we see the forest, and to change also the way as we deal with the problem of the forest, with the lack of ownership, with the lack of treatment, with the lack of cleaning the areas of the forest. And so, in the end, we had to reform the system. And we change organizations, the way we were organized, we change coordination, and we change people also. We change people. And that's why, that was the main reason that I appeared in the system in 2018 as a national commander, and with the responsibility of, I remember my letter of mission when I came to the civil protection, and my minister told me, it can never happen again. And that's what we've been working, no, I'm sorry, thank you. So we decided, and it's not the work of one institution, it's not the work of one man, or woman, it's a work of an entire organization, of coordination of all sectors, of all agencies, to acquire, at least at the beginning, this three level. Bigger interconnection. One of the lessons identified in 2017 was the lack of coordination between institutions. We need an increased level of professionalization immediately to put on some of the system, and of course to increase the level of specialized technical groups to deal with extreme situations. And so we start to work. And we came, I could say we came a long way during these 4 years. And on my final remarks, I will tell you about what we accomplished on the results of the fires. Because we have a tradition, people in Portugal, especially older people, have a tradition to work with fire during all of the year. And what they didn't notice that the climate changes, and that it's not a joke, the climate changes, all the availability of fuel, the lack of people inside of the rural areas tend to transform those areas in very high explosive areas for forest fires. And what they did 50 years ago, 40 years ago, by burning that small bushes that normally they do to create the correct fertilization of the soil, right now it's much more dangerous to do it than it was at the time. And they were younger, and they are older right now. So we have to look at the system in a global way, not only talking about prevention, but talking about response, to diminish the distance between the system of prevention and the system of fighting the fires. And we have to have a program that could really change the behavior of the people. And so we started in the beginning of 2018 to work on this National Action Plan. It was approved only on 2020, but we started to implement it in 2018. So we tried to see what we can do to really change the status quo of our forest and to change the behavior of people and to change the way we fight the fires. And so we finally came to 4 strategic orientations, trying to value the rural spaces. That's the program that has less success in the moment. Why? Because it takes a long time frame to change, to turn our forest more profitable and more organized. Taking care of the rural spaces, immediately next year, cleaning with a huge campaign of cleaning of the rural areas, to make an efficient risk management, not in the perspective of answering to something that happened, but in the perspective to create the means to prevent things to happen in those areas where the risk was bigger. And the last, I should say last but not least, the change of behaviors. We really need to change the number of fires in Portugal. On a normal year, I should say we have about, in a good year, I should say we have about 10,000 fires in Portugal. Small fires, of course. But from those small fires, in the correct conditions, they can become very wildfires. And we decrease the number of occurrences, but we still have a long way to do it. We are about 7,000, 8,000 occurrences. You'll see in the last slide the number of occurrences that we had in 2017. It was a huge number of forest fires. Another one, please. And so, for each of the columns, for each of the main strategic issues, we started to spread directives on how to deal with it. I, at the time, more concerned with the integration of systems of response, and my colleagues from the agricultural and forest area, more concerned on how to deal the area, to treat our forest. So that's normally, I say, this was not only a solution found by one institution, was mainly, another one please, mainly a multi-sectorial approach to change the way how we see the forest, how we treat the forest, and change the behavior of people. And besides that, to increase local programs of safety of the persons. And we will talk about that later on the system that we started at the time. We call it Safe Village, Safe People, where people organize themselves to have the correct action in high-risk situations in the event of a forest fire, how they are organized and what they do to escape from those areas. Please, another one. So we come to the point that it was very important, the question of citizen awareness. Not only to change the behavior of how those people see the forest and what they need to do to turn the forest a more safe environment and a more valuable environment, but also how they should act and protect themselves in the case of another fire. And so one of the innovative measures we make was this program, where we have every village, okay, not every, we have 7,000 small villages. We are about coming to the number of 3,000 villages in 4 years. We still have a long way to do it, but because most of these programs are not responsible of the civil protection area, is responsible of the municipalities, les mairies. And so it's also a cultural change to tell the responsible of the municipality to tell them, okay, this is not only a problem of the state, it's also a problem of your municipality, and you have to deal with it. And so we came to a point that almost half of the villages of Portugal are inside of the program, but still we face some. Normally, it's a philosophical approach of the left-wing, more left-wing parties that come to the municipalities, who all normally think that those are issues from the state. We are getting where we want. But what we were trying to do, what we are doing in these innovative measures, is to deal with the risk of the situations and the prevention of those risks. Providing people early warnings, SMS, any kind of warnings, toll bells in each village. So each village, it's organized with one responsible. It doesn't need to be the mayor, because some of the villages are very small. One person that knows where everyone is living. He's got a warning system. He knows and he identified shelters and safe areas to put the people. So in the event of the big fire, he warns the people, he gets the people, he moves the people to shelter areas, and so to prevent the life of those people in high-risk areas. So we decided to increase the self-protection measures of every citizen on the principle that civil protection, it's the head of all this system, begins in each one of us. And so we try to increase the role of the citizens. We provided with equipment. We provided with people empowered to become the leader of that small group to move the people away from the risk areas. And in the end, what we want to promote is resilience and knowledge-based actions. So everyone needs to know what to do, what to take. A small bag with all the documents, with the medicines, with protection gear. And so that was the huge effort that we started to do in 2018, in the beginning of 2018, and we are still doing it, trying to find critical rural clusters to shelter, place of refuge. In the end, working with all the people at local level, and then to train. And what is funny is that we came to the conclusion that people really like to train this. Normally, we that live in big cities normally think, I don't want to do this kind of program. Other people will do it. In the small village, because they know that we are trying to protect them, even the most elderly people, they like to participate. They like to go to the church. Normally, the most secure areas in the villages are the churches. High points, clean areas, and it's normally those churches. As you know, Portugal is a very Catholic country. Most of the people, especially in the rural areas, are Catholic. And so we also decide to talk with the priests and said, you, as a local leader, you need to pick up those people and take them to the church, to safe places, to know the routes, and let's train it. Let's train it. Let's train it at all levels, at the municipality level, at the small level, village level. So in the end, we tried to take profit of this citizenship awareness. One of the reasons that I, at my level, try to change most part of my service is because of the system that will provide support to the decision process in case of fire. And normally I say that what I need is to know what are my goals. Do I want this area to burn or no? do I want, if I don't want this area to burn, I must have the means to put it there. If I want it to burn, I also need to have the means to prevent that something becomes out of hand. And so we decided what were our objectives in concerning the response to the forest fires, to fight the fires. So for those to achieve those objectives, I have some needs. And normally I don't need more cars, I don't need, okay, more planes I needed at the time, and I still need it. But I need more information. I need to know how to decide at the national level, at the regional level, to have the tools to decide better. Because if I am, as a national commander, I cannot be in one fire. I have to deal with, on the worst day of 2019, I have 300 fires in one day. Four of them were big fires. I cannot be at the 4 fires at the system. But I need to put the systems working, and I need to know what is happening in the area. I need to take decisions on those big 4 fires. And so I have my objectives, I have my needs, so I need data integration. Normally I say that the 3 main questions or the 3 main words for a better integration of the system, first one is collaboration, second one is collaboration, third one is collaboration. We have a lot of institutes, a lot of firefighters, a lot of people coming from the army, from the gendarmerie, from SAMU, from all kind of integrations. I need to put them under the unique command of the civil protection. And that was my job during the first 3 years, 2018, 19, and 20, and also in the end of, up to the end of 20. Working on systems that could provide me. At the beginning in 2018, I only had images with 2 planes, with thermal and visual cameras. I always have planes flying all over the country to get me. Portugal is not such a big country, so with 2 planes I could deal with. That's always the check and balance between what I have in resources and what I can spend with those resources to have the best results. So we come to the conclusion that with 2 small planes we could cover the main fires. In 2018 and in 2019, I had only images of the fires. In 2019, I started to have image and geolocalization of the operationals in the area. Right now, I have metadata in the information. So when I receive a vision of one fire, I know who are the people who are fighting the fire, where they are. I have the integration of metadata of what existed in that area on the previous years. So it's like having a map, and I'm putting layers upon of information upon it. And with a special cell that I will speak later, what we have, it's the capability of analyzing several fires at the same time, providing to the national commander or to the regional commanders or to the local commanders the same information. So what I need as national commander when I was speaking about integration is that me as national commander and the last local commander in the area had the same kind of information. And that we call it information integration of all the issues concerning of the fires. And then we created in 2018 a team. We call it in Portuguese we call it FEB monitorização. It's somehow like special firefighters information teams. Those are firefighters, people who have all the preparation and experience in the firefighters. We grab them, we put them in universities, in institutes to acquire information, to deal not only with information system, but how to prepare information to deal, how was the behavior of the fire. We sent them to the National Firefighter School. And so we start to work with them in 2018, and they provide me. Right now they do it. On 2018, they were not able to do it, the first program. We have two programs. The first program is what we call the preventive analysis. Every 3 days, mainly on beginning of May until the end of October, every 3 days, they provide me a prevent-me analysis with the national overlook for every 3 days, with meteo, with wildfire risk region, and wildfire behavior possibilities in that area. So every 3 days, I gathered with all the actors, with all the agents of civil protection, and we come to have the conclusions of what we are going to do for the next 3 days, for the next week. When we came to a very high level of alert period, we do it every day. We do it really every day. At the same time, they provide the operational analysis. So I have 4 big fires. I have planes gathering the information. I have geolocalization with CIRESP. CIRESP is the system of communication that really improved after. It was also one of the improvements that we made since 2017. And we have the geolocalization of the people. And we have the meteo analysis on that area. We have experts on that fire. They gathered, they prepared that operational analysis. Who are the users of that operational analysis? The national commander, me at the time, right now it's my good fellow André Fernandes, who is the national commander, the regional commanders, the local commanders, and the terrain commanders. And we issue this information to all of them. And the last part of this operational analysis are, for me, the most important part, called course of actions. Meaning, for this fire, we think that the best course of actions could be 1, 2, or 3. And for the analysis people, the best course of action is number 2. It's up to me as commander, the decision is mine. But I have the system, and normally this is the system that I used during 4 years in the army, the system of the état-major that prepare me the decision that I have to take. That's what we did in the fires. And so they prepare with analysis the decisions that the local commanders, our national commanders should take, but the decision, it's always an action of the commander, not of the staff. Those are staff workers who are providing the best information for the decisions. Can you change it? Thank you. One of the things that we changed completely was once we made a question in 2018 saying, I am in the area. I have a cell phone. Why can I not use my cell phone to provide information to the GIS? So what we have now, and we started in 2018 again, and it was full operational in the end of the 2019 season, and right now it's very normal. Every one of you with a cell phone integrated with the images that That's why the images are not only images, are images with metadata. So we can integrate all the information. And you on your cell phone, with a small app that we provide and we created, you take one photo of a fire. That information goes directly to our geographical information system. It's corrected with data process, meaning that I know where it is, what kind of wind I have there, what kind of fuel I have there. Then I go to my system of geographical information system, and I put layers upon layers, and I said, what happened 3 years ago? What happened there 2 years ago? So it's not only information, it becomes intelligence in the world of firefighters. So what I wanted is that everyone with a cell phone with that app could take a picture of the fire, and at the same time I was alerted in the national command that a fire was starting there. Am I worried? No, it's a small fire. So the local commander also has that same information. I'm not worried about the way he fights. I'm worried to know if he leaves the headquarters and he starts to fire the fighters, to fight the fires. So in my system, I'm not concerned with that fire. I'm concerned with the behavior of the firefighters that are going to fight the fire. Not at my level, of course, at the national level, but I have local commanders belonging to my chain of command and regional commanders belonging to my chain of command. And like on a top-down approach and a bottom-up information, I know what's happening. And when I see the panel in my computer and I say, I want to know what's happening on sector 5B, where that fire, they told me, the firefighters just left the headquarters 5 minutes ago, they're fighting, and the information is in one system where I can read what everything is happening. And why is that good? Also because everything is written, we call it SADO. We need to improve. Right now, we are trying to improve the SADO. SADO is like a system, like a database system that integrates all the information and all the written information. So in the end, in the event of something going wrong, I don't need to start to try to find how they act. I go to SADO and I know me, prosecutors, lawyers, politicals, they know what was happening in the area. And so we can decrease the distance between the process of something happening and something to have a lesson identified. And that is also a very good opportunity for us to change. And of course, this is, it's not only was one solution. We had to find a lot of solutions. The other solution was to integrate all of the areas. As a national commander, I was the first national commanding as a general from the army to become national commander. Why? Because somehow it was easy at the national level to try to do the integrations of not only the fire brigades, because they have their own scheme of command, but also integrate national policy, gendarmerie, all the issues of armed forces. And so what we try to implement is what normally we soldiers say, we need comprehensive approach, everyone involved, but with unity of effort. Meaning, I don't need to have a lot of equipment if everyone is doing what they want. Maybe I need to have less equipment, but they should do everything that I want, or the levels of decision want. And so it was a question of integration. It was difficult in the first year because people were not used to it, but I remember my first year, and I changed also the behavior on the way we commanded. My first year, I was always in the terrain, speaking with people, showing myself that I was becoming part of the solution. Me and my team, of course, at the various levels. Right now, the national commander doesn't need to do that because it's an acquired culture of integration that we have right now. It took almost 3 years to get it, but we are giving sound paces to get more and more integration. We have problems, of course, a lot of them. There is always someone trying to skate uphill, always. But again, the same convergence, unity of effort at the political level, at the strategical level, and at the operational level, it's the sound solution for us to the best fighting examples in the area. And of course, we need to qualify more people. As you know, and I really value this system, we have most of our firefighters become from volunteers associations. I said, okay, they are volunteers, but I must be sure that those volunteers are suitable for the mission and they have the proper formation. There was a huge effort in 2018 and 19 to have more people to become as a volunteer, but with professional standards of combat fires. And what we started in 2019 and increasing up to now is the professional teams inside of the volunteers headquarters. So each headquarters, and we have 400 firefighter headquarters volunteers, they choose teams of 5, 10, or 15 people, depending on the size of the firefighter brigade headquarters, and we give them formation, and we pay them. When we say we pay them, the state pays them. And so they become professionals. And up to this moment of the almost 20,000 volunteers, firefighters, almost 3,000 are professional. And they can act in two ways. They are better prepared, and they can do better work with the volunteers, because they are leading the way they. So in the end, I have those number of professionals, but in the end I have almost 10,000 people with professional standard. And that was also a solution. The price of it, about 5 million euros each year, but half is paid from me, from the state, from the civil protection, and half is paid by the municipalities. And that was a huge effort to provide and to tell all the municipalities that if the effort should be national, it should not be only done by the central government. The local government needs to do it. And so I paid half of the wages of all the professionals, and each municipality pays half of the wages of the firefighters of their municipality. In the end, I pay 5 million, and the municipalities pay the other 5 million. I think it's a balanced effort for have more professionalization in the system, and of course with more qualification. Okay? So, and I'm finishing. What we are looking forward is to, and we have a long way to do it on the first thing, the resilience of the territory. We are increasing the resilience of the system, the resilience of people, but we are not doing so well in the resilience of the territory. There are new laws that permit the state, the central state, to intervene on local properties, to aggregate local properties in bigger properties on a system of condominium to become more profitable. And if you ask me, are we getting a huge success on that? No. We are getting some success on that, but in the end, there is a strong, people try to have, even if they don't do nothing to the terrain, they don't want the others to do something on those terrains. I think it's human. But we have new legislation right now to have more power at the central level to do this. To reinforce population safety, to increase our program from more than 3,000 villages to the other 3,500 villages that we need to do it. Higher interconnection between prevention and suppression. I've been working along with my other part in the rural area, the ECNF, we call it in Portugal, and we try to even use some of my assets of fighting for the prevention, and I'm giving formation to the prevention systems of people who work in the forest. They became sappers, the sapeurs, and they can also work in the firefighting. And so we're trying to merge this, and in the end, I think we have the most honorable mission. It is to save people, to save lives of people. And so we are working at the same level. Increase the level of professionalization. I have about 3,000 professional firefighters. I would like to have 5,000 in this year, maybe next year, to achieve this area. And then I think I come to a good solution. And to increase the level of intelligence. Information is good, but doesn't provide value added of the decision. What I need is intelligence. And I'm trying to also bring my experience and the experience of other people coming from several areas, from universities also, and to build models. So in the end, that our information that we gather from the area, it's become intelligence for us to have the best decisions in the area. And we know that in this line of work, that even if we do everything the right way, things can go wrong. So, but one thing is for sure, if we don't work trying to achieve those, it's going to work wrong for sure. So we need to work more and more. Last one, please. And what we accomplish. Okay, I like very much this slide because except from this small point, this is the area burned in Portugal, and below we have the number of occurrences. Those are the years. 2017, of course, a lot of burned area, a lot of occurrences. What we accomplish is 2018, 19, 20, the last 4 years, we diminished the number of occurrences, and we diminished a lot the number of burned area. This is not a statistic made by me, it's a statistic made by the government and the forest inspection area. So on the last 10 years, only 2014 was a good year. I could say right now that our last 4 years were very good years, and no one civilian died in forest fires. And so that's the best prize I have of my work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Duarte da Costa, for this very interesting topic and very practical also. We're going to take a few minutes for some questions, if someone has one. Yep.
Vous pouvez me poser la question en français, je pense que si vous voulez.
D'accord. David Joubert, je suis déjà très impressionné par tout le travail accompli. Félicitations quand on sait comment c'est difficile de changer les mentalités. Et depuis 10 ans, j'essaie de changer les mentalités sur l'utilisation de certains moyens de lutte aérien, puisque malgré tous les efforts que vous faites, vous le dites vous-même, le carburant, il va rester là pendant 15-20 ans. Oui. Et pendant ces 15 à 20 ans, des méga-feux vont forcément arriver. Et au niveau européen, que pensez-vous de l'utilisation d'avions bombardiers d'eau de très grande capacité qui pourraient venir compléter votre façon de travailler, votre nouvelle façon de travailler, en étant beaucoup plus rapidement sur le terrain via le mécanisme rescue, mais pas forcément celui-ci uniquement. Voilà. Et le développement de ces avions gros porteurs bombardiers d'eau nécessite le soutien de personnalités comme vous qui voient que le changement doit arriver. Et je voudrais connaître votre position, puisque depuis 10 ans, j'essaie de convaincre l'Europe qu'il faut passer à ce type d'outils en complément de tout ce qui existe. Bien sûr, il est hors de question de remplacer ce qui existe, mais bien de venir compléter avec des doctrines d'utilisation qui permettraient de soutenir les efforts que vous faites.
Thank you very much for your question. It's a very important question. And one of the things that we increased, not only during the year, but in number of planes, it's the number of planes that I have at my disposal right now. We started with about 7 in 2017, was about 25, 30. I have now 60, with a huge effort of the government. From those 60, I increased also, and we saw it this year how important it was to have also planes and helicopters at our disposal in the months that are not the fire season. Because the fire season right now, it's not a very suitable word, because fire season, it's all of the year. We had big fires in January. A lot of burnt area this year. This year, we had the biggest burnt area in the last 4 years. No planes, no. Okay, some of the areas, we decided to let it burn. Because, okay, it's better to burn now than to burn in summer. But however, we had a lot of fires in Portugal. And so I have more time, the planes at my disposal. I have 14 all over the year, and in the main months of coming from May, June, July, August, September, and October, I have 60. Okay, part of the question. Second, one of the things that I'm always afraid, and I'm not a politician, is that at the political level, and there are people thinking like that they say, no, you get very good results in these 4 years. So let's reduce the budget to have less planes, less helicopters, less persons. And the day before yesterday, just the day before coming here, I had a meeting with the Prime Minister of Portugal, and I told him, sir, the good results that we are having doesn't mean that what happened in 2017 cannot happen again. Because our forest area is going to remain the same in the next 15 years. And even if we work a lot in the last 15 years, it takes time to change the forests. So the risk is there. The fuel is there. We improve the firefighting. We improve the behavior of the persons. We improve the risk reduction. So we need the means. Let's see what I can accomplish with that. They can put me home, or they can give me, or at least maintain the system. About large planes. It depends, sir, if you allow me my question. I don't have so many areas. Portugal is not the same as Spain. If I was Spanish, I would say directly, big planes with a lot of load inland with the proper system, it's a huge solution for Spain, for sure. For Portugal, in the south, not in the north. Because most of the forest areas in the north has small villages inside of the forest. And when I see a 747 on my fellows of the United States launching all that kind of liquid upon a forest fire, I said, okay, if I do the same here, I would, in the north, I would probably destroy some of the houses. So, sir, I would say very pragmatically, in an eye in the eye. It's a very good solution, but not for all my country. In the southern part of the country, I have big areas and big fires where I can use it. In the northern part of the country, I cannot use it. And then, if they are very big planes, I have only 5 airports, 6 airports where I could use them. Lisboa, Porto, Faro, Viseu, Beja, mainly, and also the military ones, tanks maybe. And I need to have in place equipment there to charge the plane with the equipment. I would be very comfort if I could use them in the southern part of the country. I wouldn't feel so safe to use them in the north. But in the end, of course, that's a solution. Of course, that's the way ahead. And what we need, it's maybe to have in Europe local hubs where we can use those. I received 4 days ago, everything is happening on this area. I received 4 days ago the green light to start the process with the Air Force, Portuguese Air Force. We work in coordination to buy the first 525, how do I call those planes? Canadair. They don't exist yet. Yeah, and we will have it in some years. And we were allowed to start the process of buying the first lot of equipment to have those planes. We also change a little bit our perspective on the planes and use of helicopters, if you allow me to share this opinion. What we notice in number of occurrences that we could get on it, and to do more rapidly the work than the helicopters, small planes. We use a part of my fleet, my Portuguese fleet, is with small planes that can charge in dams, in rivers, because we have a lot of dams, we have a lot of rivers, and they can provide a very good solution all over the place. And I am decreasing operation. I will speak operational and political. I am trying to decrease the number of local helicopters and put more number of small planes, fireboss planes, to work with the fires, because they are very agile. They can go where places where big planes in the north area, I'm talking in the north, they cannot go. And so I'm doing this. However, I'm getting the opposition of local politicians because they like to have the helicopter there. It doesn't make nothing sometimes, but it's somehow, you can tell for the voters, oh, I can have civil protection here as a helicopter. It's because me as mayor, I told them somehow it's a balance. But for sure, in Europe, we should have 2-3 hubs. And where are the big fires? Except in 2018 that we had big fires in Sweden. And Portugal, imagine, who could imagine this? Portugal sent airplanes to Sweden to help the fire season. I said, it was my first year in the civil protection, and we said, we are going to send planes, Portuguese planes, to fight fires in Sweden. Something unthinkable a few years ago. But most of the fires are occurring in Portugal, Spain, France, Italy, Greece, and in the north of. And also there is a change of cultural awareness of the northern countries. Not only because what happened in Sweden, but because what normally some of the northern countries are more reliable on their own capacities. And they come to the conclusion that the own capacity of the state are not enough to deal with the problem. And so they are changing, making a shift and say, okay, we need more cooperation inside Europe and we need more planes inside the mechanism. And of course, through 2-3 hubs in Europe with large planes who could use large amount of not water, but product. I'm failing the name in English.
Retardant.
I'm sorry?
Retardant.
Retardant, yes. With retardant, it's always a very good option. And of course, you can count on me, on my local forums, to say, yes, that's a solution in Europe for all the countries. To have a large plane in Portugal, okay. Let me have it right now.
It's never been my goal. It's really a European.
For sure.
2 or 3 aircraft, big aircraft, Airbus A330 with 14,000 liters.
Yeah.
And that would be a solution to help. And I was close to the directorate of DG ECO in 2017 when you asked, not you, but your previous predecessor asked for help. And I was close to her and I said to her, she couldn't send any aircraft, any help. And I said to her, look, if we were there, we would be in Portugal in 2 hours. And that's what I try to do. And that's what we could do with your help, because we need support from people like you.
Yeah, thank you very much. And we are working this precise moment in Portugal, not with me right now, but with my national commander, to do a protocol to have the possibility, concerning all the safety measures that we need to have also with the Americans some kind of protocol. The problem is that from the United States here, it took too long. We need them here in Europe.
And to finish, my project is only 35 million euro, and the CL515 that you are trying to buy is more than 50.
Yeah,
so we can find, with COVID experience and the change of type of aircraft in airlines, we can have very big aircraft for a very low price and very efficient.
Thank you very much. And I think that's local, like I was telling you, always a balance, but it's a very good solution and would prevent some of the aspects if we had it in 2017. That's for sure.
And especially on the road when all those people died, we could have protected.
Yeah, for sure.
We probably can exchange contacts. That could be interesting. One last question or not? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Duarte da Costa. We were very interested in following the situation since 2017, and it's very encouraging.
Yeah. My team, and Anna is one of the persons of my team are the changers of it. I'm just directing them.
Yeah, that's needed. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.